Uh, 58:46. Well, I don't know if that's going to be enough time. We'll give it a shot. College try. 4:31. Motherfucker. Hoping to get in some episodes. Alright, Newsmax. I went to watch it because, I got in all the stuff, all the other stuff that I was watching, and, a lot of it was kind of just repeating the same shit, like just glossing over the same shit. And I was just like, I seen that, basically seen that, it's just like, I know that, you talked about that. It's just like, blah, blah, blah. So I think, I might be okay just going back to watching TV for like day and a half, 2 days until Trump and his, goose steppers get on to doing some other crazy shit. 1, 2 other things, until the news cycle has, a couple of more outrageous shit to cover. Because it's like, we're only covering the most fucked up things. I'm betting you have a lot of other things that you could be covering. It's like, we only covered the flashiest of diamonds. It's like, all right. Could talk about other stuff. Other shit is relevant. I don't know why you don't talk about other things. You could mention, this guy only stole $5,000. That's not enough money. We gotta keep talking about the guy that stole all of the bank money for 3 days. I don't care about either of those. It's not relevant to me. I'm broke. Anyways, it's enough of not rant about shit that this isn't whatever. Anyways, Newsmax. Watch Gerry Callahan. Which was interesting. It was like the only thing on Newsmax that was more than 5 minutes long. And I don't have a TV because I'm not 80 years old. And not rich. So, I do things like, I operate on a level that's like the bottom 40% of Americans and or their children, because my computer's busted. So Gerry Callahan, his stats are, so I figured I better know about these people because I have no idea about conservatives. Communications degree from Amherst Liberal Arts College. Ooh, impressive. That's sort of a university. Liberal arts, it's where education goes to die. Maybe I shouldn't be talking because, yikes. I went and tried to get this is gonna be embarrassing. I went and double majored in chemistry and physics, right? And I dropped out and majored in mathematics. Then I dropped out and went back and majored in linguistics. Because the third time I was just like, all right, I got to end up with some degree. This is all at UW Milwaukee. And the third time I dropped out. With 5 fucking credits left to go on my degree. And I was like, fuck it. Every time I was just like, man, I am bored and I just don't feel like doing this anymore. Some people just don't have the stamina for college. I didn't even have really the stamina for high school either. Like, it was just like, man, I can't fucking deal with doing this. But I could deal with and did have the stamina for the high school and college of smoking a lot of weed. So, if I could get a degree in that, if I could have, man, I would have got a PhD in that shit. So, whatever. Actually, I would have gotten like a triple PhD in that shit. Whew. So, he covered, I don't smoke anymore. Well, it's a good thing, because he covered the ICE raid on it was a weed facility. Actually, there were 2, but I only looked up one of them. They're owned and operated by the same guy. It's like he's the biggest grower, corporate grower, which is definitely what every hippie envisioned when they were like, legalize weed in the 60s and 70s. And it's definitely what we envisioned when we wanted weed legalized. We're like, yeah, man, we want like R.J. Reynolds to take over weed growing. Yeah, that'll make everything completely better and like good for us big tobacco companies. Yeah, that's what we want. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That'll make things better than, the weed cartels and stuff. Yeah, that's what we want. Mm-hmm. Good. Not, me having the ability to take the seeds out and put them in my pots and just leave them out there and let it grow, because they'll do that. I know it from firsthand experience. You can just take a handful of seeds and throw it in any dirt, literally any dirt, and not do anything, and you'll get weed. You don't have to do shit. Weed will outgrow other weeds. They will outcompete shit. You don't have to fucking do anything. Weed is the greatest thing for weed smokers, because we can be lazy and just get free weed. It's not good quality, but I don't give a shit. Guess what? The Democratic lawmakers don't let you do that. Yeah. They don't fucking let you do that. That's like if beer grew on a tree, but they were like, nah, you need a fucking license to grow your own beer tree. Yeah. Yeah. Think about that for a second. Every Southerner in the country needs to think about that for a second. You could just grow your own beer tree. You didn't have to do shit. And bottles of beer would just grow. And your government, Republican government, would be like, yeah, you can't do that. You need to pay a fee and have an orchard, and people need to pick the beer and they'd be licensed and everything. There's all this shit that you need to go through, and taxes need to be paid on them, and oh my God, just all this shit, right? Right? Just for beer. Anyway, so I was getting all pissed off about that. So I just want to say, okay, because there are reminders there. So let's deal with that. That's like the thing that even I would be pissed off. One, how old were they? I never heard him say anything about that, and the article I looked at didn't say anything about that. How old were they? Okay, were they like 12 or younger? Because that's fucked up. You know, we need to know how old they are. We need to know more information so that everybody can, you know, plant their flag on where they believe they are. And second of all, we need to know what the fucking kids wanted, you know, because, you know, that's the essence of child labor and slavery. You know, obviously for slavery, it's kind of on it. It's kind of clear cut. You know, people don't want to be slaves, and it's pretty clear cut, right? But picking weed, I gotta tell you, somebody hired me, and I was like, I think I started smoking weed at like 14 or something like that. They were like, you can pick weed here. Like, they teach me how to pick weed and stuff. They would have to watch me pretty good to make sure that I wasn't stealing weed. All right, you know, wasn't getting a little freebie in my pockets and stuff, because I would steal weed, first of all. And in California, minimum wage is, I think, $20. So, how many hours are they working? Are they paying minimum wage? Those are questions that need to be answered. You know, because if they're working 8 hours and they're getting paid $20 an hour, that's $160. $160 plus free weed at 16 years old. $160 and free weed at 16 years old outside of the school year. I don't know, dude. You offer me that job when I was 16 outside of the school year, I would lie to my parents for that job. Yeah, I'm going to the grocery store, gotta work. I'll be back that night. Come home with like 4 ounces of weed or a pound or something like that. Free weed. You know how much a fucking pound of weed costs? You probably don't because you're a square. Ooh, damn. You can sell part of that, sell half of that, keep half of that. Damn. After a week of work, I'm buying myself a car. Of course, it's a crappy car, and you're going to have to lie to your parents in a really convincing way about how you got it. But next year, go to school. You got yourself a car. So now, one way or the other, we've dealt with the child sting. Yeah, you know, one way or the other. Horrible or damn, that's a good job. Oh yeah, and then the other thing is the guy shooting the ICE officer. I don't know. I don't know how to explain this to you, but maybe you're just not watching the same news. I don't know. of like what ICE is doing. I'm guessing about they're just like ramming people up against doors and walls and against the ground and shit like that. And I don't know. I mean, they don't look particularly harmful. And again, ICE is operating like I know cops do. It's like running up on people like, oh, you've been speeding. Quick, we need 6 reinforcement officers. It's like, dude, I was maybe speeding. And you need 6 more backup officers. It's like, dude, you don't need to roll deep on someone that was going 12 miles per hour over. That's why a lot of the time I call cops cowards, because it's like, what are you doing? I don't know why they feel like they need to do that. Like, can't you just look at me and be like, yeah, this dude is definitely holding an arsenal in the back of his car. Shit. Approach with safety. Guns up. He definitely has 4 grenade launchers in the back. Like, by the way, I got pulled over for speeding 4 miles per hour once on a sunny day. Road clear, visibility. 1 mile forward, 3 miles behind me. 4 miles per hour over. 4. Yeah. Stone cold sober. Wasn't jittery or nothing. 4 miles per hour over. So, yeah, I mean, they're protesting. Hey, ho, ho, ICE needs to go. Oh my God. We feel so threatened in our body armor and automatic rifles and grenades and stuff. Maybe we should get 3 tanks and Black Hawk helicopters. Will you feel safe now? I don't know. Maybe you should bring in some artillery. Anyways, so yeah, again, I don't know what news you're watching, but I didn't see any clips through the entire show that you did either. It was just your face and your kind of soft core porn RFK Jr. voice. So, yeah. And, and you kind of say you're going to go into climate change and you do a life insurance ad read. I don't know what that's about. I guess you're worried about people using ad blockers while they're watching your shit. Okay. I mean, you are a Newsmax affiliate, so I guess they make you do that in order to get some revenue or something like that. Everybody's doing ad reads, which is just friggin' annoying. Pisses me off. I hope in your heart of hearts ad reads piss you off too, because that would mean that at least you're a human. And I think I remember something where you play an audio of some like, this climate change, Americans believe and blah, blah, and there's percentages and stuff. So, according to Google, I'm looking at like stuff that I looked up, by the way. That's why I turn. I like never look shit up for any of my videos. I'm totally unscripted. But for you, I made an exception, Mr. Gerry Callahan. For you, Google says 41% of America believes in ghosts. So there's a statistic for you. So relevant to your climate change statistics that you threw out there, people can be dumb. And it's not just Americans, it's just humans in general. So there you go. What the fuck? Oh, it says late night shows. Oh yeah, you were talking about late night shows and the ratings and not having conservative guests. There we go. All right, just little memory bumpers. So the late night shows. Okay, let me just caveat this first. Oh, I'll check time. My phone sucks and has dick for memory, so I gotta it lets me know how much time I got left. This is only on 20 minutes. There's my towel. Late night shows. The only one I ever watch, and I watch clips of it on the phone, on YouTube, is The Daily Show. The other ones I don't even watch, like, ever. I only watch The Daily Show because it's funny. That's it. And, you know, they're the only ones that, honestly, I think are funny. The other ones are just pretty much not. So, yeah. I agreed with that part of your statement, that they're not funny. But as far as the ratings thing, I didn't check. I don't believe you with the ratings. But like I said, I'm not even going to check that. I really don't check a lot of facts. I just kind of make statements. And it's not that I don't check them because I just believe stuff. I don't check them because I don't like doing research. So take that for what it means. And somebody else can check shit. The not having conservative guests on, I think I remember statements being made, at least by The Daily Show, by Jon Stewart. A lot of times him saying, we asked so-and-so to come on or to make a comment or something, and they refused our offer. So that could be, at least in part, why those late night shows have their guests skewed to that extreme degree. I'm not saying it wouldn't be skewed even heavily, 80-20, 90-10, something like that. But it is possible that conservative people, conservative politicians simply won't engage with certain individuals. It could simply be possible they just won't engage. You might have to do more research on that. Again, I don't do a lot of research. I'm an armchair philosopher, pretty much. That's what I like doing. It's my comfort zone. The last thing I'm going to get into very briefly is the whole Trump assassination thing. I know you're not going to like this viewpoint, but it's one of the few things that I'll allow myself to indulge in and kind of stand firm on. Hmm. Good people that were assassinated: Lincoln, Kennedy, RFK Jr., Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. They were killed. Douchebags that weren't killed but were shot: Reagan and Trump. Why? I know what I think about that. Um, I'll let you draw the line through history and figure it out for yourself. I know what I think. But, you know, I'll just also say, you know, it looks really good when you get shot and you don't die. Because if you don't die, you can carry on with what you do. But when you get shot and you die, well, I guess you can't fucking keep doing what you were doing. And a lot of people that get killed were doing good shit. Because when Lincoln died, oh, I guess you slaves that took office and stuff, you were doing good shit. Kennedy was doing good shit. So follow the trajectory. But you know, we can't predict where that line was going. I'm just saying it looks like that line was going. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. This is me armchairing again. It's possible the world would have ended in a nuclear holocaust if Booth. Sorry, it took me a while to get his name. Booth hadn't shot and killed Lincoln. The world could be an atomic wasteland right now. We don't know. But I'm just saying, shit looks like shit was getting better. So, what are you gonna do? You just have to look, and you just have to say. And any rational person can say, "Oof, Reagan, what a fucking shit show. We really needed that guy to just not. God damn, that guy and the entire history of republicanism is just from the 80s onward is just a fuckery magoo. I mean, seriously, that's just a, but whatever. I know people that are supporting of the Republican Party are not going to agree with that. They're going to completely be like, what? They did totally great shit. Deregulation was a complete success. Like, yeah, if by a complete success you mean a total failure, then I agree with you. Anyways, that's my personal critique, but that's one person's viewpoint who has no college degree. I think I graduated with a C in high school. So my credentials are highly suspect. I'm on disability, so my current occupation is firmly entrenched in bum status. And this is the room that I work out of. I am. No one should listen to me. ever about anything. But if you want to, you can gamble. $10,000 on 00, baby. All right. Boobs out.